Well, greetings, I'm Liz.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together. Yes. Just again, like, thank you. All right, so in our last episode, we had a lot of economic discussion because, you know, gangsters and payday loans and loan sharks and people making shady loans. And, but this is totally a romance game. Welcome aboard.
Hello, welcome to Liz and Scandal, the Atome game.
The Atome game, where financial difficulties is the key to romance.
That's because, you know, we're not really into one-sided relationships here, so...
Oh, damn. Well, you see. All right. All right. Let's go find Nico, who ran off past all the really cool-looking art.
Wait, did she run away?
Yeah, she did. She sent 6 gangsters on us and ran away. You haven't heard the last from me, you meddling kids. And
I would have gotten away with it, too, if it hadn't been for that meddling beefcake.
That meddling prince boy. At least I got a bag of jewels out of it, and I'm not even a heister.
Right.
Can you verb heist?
To heist or not to heist? That is the question.
What are you? I do heists, so I'm a heister? I think they call that a crook.
No, I'm a heister.
I'm not a thief. I'm a heister. Yes, I feel
like a shoe type, like a shoe.
Oh, wow. She is small neck compared to him, but I mean he's gigantic.
This
is hilarious. This is interesting.
Or the size of like Canada compared to the rest of her.
They're large.
Like if you really think about like anatomy wise, either he has no leg and she's all leg.
I think she's wearing like 10-inch heels. I really do. I think she's small, she's wearing platforms with like, you know, a 10-inch heel.
I have to admit, it'd be very hard for me to then take her seriously.
Stands there, has a high-powered business suit with a mini, and is wearing these giant-ass platforms. Hello.
You know what it reminds me of? A lot of cosplayers in various different parts of the world that I've ever seen, where they're like, I'm gonna play this really tall character, and they have enormous platforms, and I'm going, now I've seen Sephiroth walking around with an 8-inch platform heel, and it's so damn funny. Okay, so I'm like, and the cosplay looks great, but I'm laughing my ass off because I'm suddenly got Sephiroth going, and I'm like, oh, yes.
So the one that I loved was when somebody solves, like, they were not very tall and they solved the pyramid head problem because they wanted to be tall and imposing. So they have a pyramid head costume and a really long apron, and they're literally just trucking around on 5-gallon buckets tied to their feet.
Yes.
From the front, it looked fine. They were tall, they were imposing. The mask was huge. And then you have them this sort of shambling heavy walk, which is appropriate. Right. And you look and they've got these giant buckets. They're just standing on them like step stools tied to their feet that they're shuffling around on. It was amazing.
That's great.
Amazing.
Cosplayers are amazing. That is also like a level of unexpected hilarity and humor. Like you're just like, yes!
It's like
I both was terrified and well, Mark Down is scared and horny.
Yes. You're just like, good job. Wow, dedication. But also like low budget or working with what you have, dedication, going, I don't have 16-inch platform shoes, which may or may not exist. Buckets it is!
Ingenuity! This is the toppest of the class right here, yo.
You want some real creative clothing solutions? Cosplayers will survive the apocalypse as far as like gear is concerned. Trucking around on the wastelands in their bucket shoes.
Oh, I got it, man. Didn't you know you came to Fallout to have a wonderful like shoe like fashion walk? Like, oh yes, we discovered true fashion in the wastes.
In the apocalypse, we discovered that everything is shoes.
People with really expensive shoes are just like, let's take bottle caps. And you just like, la, la, la.
Right, your really fancy shoes. It's just got bottle cap heels. In case you don't know, bottle cap's the currency. But I'm also just like imagining Bayonetta going, see, I knew, gun shoes. Everyone go, yeah, gun shoes.
That's brilliant.
It's hard enough to walk on. I can do it. Yay! All right, so you're Nico. You're going to talk to yourself some more.
Okay, so you got No, you're small.
Oh, right.
I'm
all right.
I'll do Nico.
Meaning you talked to yourself in the last episode of things we did.
It's true.
I did the last episode of this one, but both of us have ended up talking to ourselves.
It's right.
It's super good.
Right. All right.
All right.
Your grandfather's off the hook for some reason, and that actually doesn't mean anything because that...
If it's not written down, I could change my mind.
And also, again, there's no way actually to rehabilitate obviously a criminal behavior.
Right.
So this doesn't actually mean anything.
Nope, but that's fine.
So rehab, please.
No plan is the best plan.
I promise. Now, please put me... He did!
I mean, he did!
She's like tiny.
She is, and he just shoved his hands under her shoulders, picked her up by her armpits, and held her face to face. and glared at her, gave her the I'm more important than you, and I think I'm perfect. Look.
I'm brilliant.
I'm amazing.
Please, put me down.
Phoenix drops Nico, and she escapes with her tail between her legs, running on her 10-inch platforms. Clack, 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 clack.
Suddenly, this character has a tail.
I know, I want it
like,
to be a
I
tail
appreciate
too.
the metaphor, but when you try to use a metaphor
Dragons?
in the middle of, like,
Dragons.
I don't even know what to call this. Would you call this? This is like second person or something like this? Second person narrative? Like this. Okay, so sometimes I'm like, I feel like writers, like, and I understand this also might be translated basically where it wasn't translated exactly correct. She escapes. Like, she has her tail between her legs. Like, you know,
Right.
but like, I'm
chagrined, deeply chastised.
I'm just like, some of the choices that, that people decide to make, at least it's not like the Arcana, where they like to switch perspectives drastically, where you're writing a first-person novel and then suddenly you do a third-person novel, and it's very weird.
That is the most disorienting thing about the Arcana. If they didn't change their tense, I think it would be so much more immersive, honestly.
Right?
It really would. Like, you would be more into your character and less pulled out into the, but what am I doing as a player?
Right?
Yeah, and that would be cool. All right, so, and she escapes
also,
like, the tail between her
her
legs. When you've essentially got, like, kimono Mimi aesthetic on these dragons going, we don't know if they have little tails. Or big tails. Who knows?
Right.
They have cute little horns, cute little ears, a giant ass tail. Pep, I am here.
Well, I'm also like, do you have multiple different forms? Like, or is it
Like,
just
do you
literally
actually
going, I am a dragon? And that's what you think a dragon is?
It has
wow.
tiny little horns.
Human art was way more inventive for what you guys look like. Like, dang.
Right?
They're like, we are dragons.
I would love it if we get through this game and at some point there literally is a like a dragon illustration. I would be like, props for this game, 5 stars.
Oh yeah, I
like,
would love
that'd be great.
They're like,
anyway,
apparently we're just sort of being contained.
but yeah, using tail between her legs is an interesting convention, given what the contents of the story is.
Right.
Right. I don't think she'll be bothering your old man again, because I know so much about the human world and how these things work. Mostly because I'm overly confident about myself. I'm very happy with who I am.
Talking to Grandpa, like being shown Minesweeper on the phone.
Right? Learning
Like,
about phone screens and about touch screens. Dylan looks up and is like,
are you done?
are you sure? Just waiting this whole thing out. It's fine.
It's fine.
All right, give me 5. Puts hands up. Yay!
Yay! I became Mammon.
And I just say, and small, and then he just stares like, what? What? What?
A what?
Yes!
Yes!
It's so good. Their world building. It works sometimes. I'm so proud of them. 5 what? Never mind. Slowly putting my hand down. It's
I'm also
fine.
like, as funny as that also is too, the other thing though you have to consider. So let's say culturally, like the one thing people like pointing out is that regardless of what your games look like, even for the entirety of our world, right? For Earth, everybody's at least got hand games. Right? Because you've all got hands.
Yeah.
Right? Act with your hands. Your kids do tons of hand games.
Whatever things you have in common with your anatomy are universal throughout cultures.
It doesn't mean the games look the same, but you are definitely playing with those parts.
You have a category of hand games, just like you'll have a category of like string games or a category of rock games.
Right.
Because everybody's got rocks.
Right.
That kind of thing. Like Monkella's done with seeds or with rocks because everyone's got seeds and rocks.
Right.
Chess, checkers, seeds or rocks. You
right.
know? Yes.
Yeah, like it's very interesting. So that's one of the things. Like I will say, in terms of that, him being like, are we like? I could see him being like, what are we playing a game from when I was like 7?
Or also just being like you put your hand up, give me 5. So many questions of what could that mean.
Right. Going,
right.
Also, like, for some people, there are specific hand gestures that are considered to be really rude.
Or she literally just, instead of putting her hand up, she just put it out, like, at elbow height kind of thing, like, smack down on my hand.
There's actually, some people have pointed out that if you have your hand, like, you put it, like, so hand raised and up, that could be considered an insult in different countries. So watch why some people actually, because that's, like, coming on to someone or saying, like, hey, come over here. And then other people go, this is why you put your hand down instead of going up.
And going, depending on where she placed her hand, could have a completely different meaning. So that's interesting. I love that.
Yep.
Never mind. Casually just puts hand back and then goes, hang on, actually, you know what? Let me teach this to you. We're all going to learn this right now because I am trying to get you to be a part of my culture and understanding me. So this is what a high five is. Grandpa, we're going to high five. Does a high five with Grandpa. Yep. Does one where it shows immediately Phoenix how to do one. Pep. Does what goes with Dylan for 2 hands. Can you get this? Come on, just smack my hands gently. You can do this. It's informal. It's celebratory. Yes! She's got it. All of them. And then everyone knows. And they're like, we don't know the full context of this, but when we see it, we will know it is a celebratory thing of some kind where people are smacking their hands together.
And if you're in another culture, such as Vulcans, there's always the idea where they're like, excuse me, hand smacking is very intimate. Like,
hands. Whoa, hands.
Oh, boy.
And then we're home.
I'm glad everything turned out well.
Me too. See, and you
the
were
Queen
wearing
was happily go right back to the same music.
Yes, the perfect, charming little music. It's like a toot, 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 toot. It's just so much like, it's so much like cheery department store elevator music.
God, it's so bad for the...
And also me imagining this being piped into your house, at least this room of your house at all times. And you're just going, Grandpa, I know you had a concept for surround sound system, but it's been stuck on that loop for 4 years. Couldn't you just admit defeat and do something else?
Just please.
Just going, no, but it works. It does.
I swear.
You almost don't even notice it. And, you know, sometimes it's relaxing. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to bed now.
That seems appropriate.
Let me know if anything else happens.
It's probably
Don't
late.
worry, I'm going to be leaving you so that you can sit with Phoenix, I'm sure, on the couch. Because I was actually surprised, because I know it's supposed to be Phoenix's turn. Like, if my theory is correct, because it does keep seeming
if
to
they
go
are
in cycles.
rotating through the dragons.
They're rotating through the boys.
Rotate.
You're gonna get time with Phoenix here that you're gonna have to pay for.
Yep, you should get offered it.
Yep. Good night, all.
All right.
Thanks for the help, Dylan. I love teaching you how to do Minesweeper. I think that's what the kids are doing these days, though I think it involves more buildings and breaking ankles. I'm not sure which one. And thank you, Phoenix.
Yeah, Grandpa, I think you're thinking of Minecraft. That one's more buildings and...
I think it's Minecraft.
Oh. No, I think that's a website, Grandpa.
I swear it's Minecraft. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, yes, thank you so much. I don't know how I can ever repay you for the help today, and the fact that I don't know that actually worked, but I'm glad everyone else is so confident, and I'm really uncomfortable with having blown up the door to that house and having wrecked a bunch of people, but you know, hopefully the ambulances are good and
I mean,
stuff.
I was amused that they were instantly like, hey, we have called the ambulance, and I was like, wow, you guys are prompt, but also like, dude,
yeah.
Whoa. Also, at least for us here in the
love
United States, I'm like, damn, you must have some money.
That's also expensive. Going, well, and also going, Small must have called the ambulance.
Right.
And then going, I have no context for ambulance. I hereby theorize that Small has led a life free of ambulances and has no connection to the cost. So they've never had that kind of emergency in her family.
But in other parts of the world, though, ambulances are way cheaper.
It's true.
Really
They
just
are.
So if you don't know anything about the way the U.S. healthcare system currently works, which we're really hoping will get changed with this next election,
We are pulling for some change. It would be good because money just isn't going to solve an ever-increasing cost of healthcare. You just need different healthcare.
Especially when people aren't getting more money to basically combat an ever-rising, basically, industry.
It's true.
Like, the medical industry here is ridiculously, like, it's a cash cow.
It
like,
is a
solidly.
big chunk of capitalism. And honestly, the health of your people in your society should not be one of your sources of income, in my opinion. And looking at it from a business perspective of, if I was running, say, a manufacturing establishment, say,
Right.
a big factory,
Right.
and I had many, many employees, I would not be looking to essentially compromise those employees' health to essentially encourage them to pay into my company healthcare system.
Right.
And thereby use that as like it's an unbalanced system. And if you look at the citizens of America as employees, we have a ton of them that are all tied up essentially in our HR department, which is our healthcare system.
Right.
And therefore they're not doing work that they could be doing out there if we could just solve their medical issues, get them the appropriate adaptive equipment, get them, the medical care they need, clear their case so they could go back onto the production floor.
Don't you know that they always need to have at least some people who are unemployed because they always need to basically be threatening the current workforce so that if you ever make any mistakes, you can easily be replaced. It's a thing that a lot of people really do talk about, of going like, one of the biggest incentives really is capitalism isn't incentivized to basically have jobs for everyone.
Well,
because if you had 100% engagement, you could never basically turn around and pay people less or more or throw people out. Like, you just,
also,
there's no incentive to change.
If you have 100% employment, you can't have seasonal workers, and we count on seasonal workers.
We really do. But again,
But
Like,
it's one of those things.
yeah.
But anyway, healthcare to me feels like bottom of the barrel, like essentially society stability.
Yes.
Because you cannot have the people in your society functioning without drawing a ridiculous amount of continual resources, including like financial, like handling their finances, being able to handle their mental health, not being able to be in consistent, like productive states if they don't have healthcare.
Right.
Like, if your body is not cared for, you can't do the rest of the things with your mind.
Yes.
So that for me is a basic pillar of functioning. If you want your workforce, which is your country's, you know, like people to be functioning.
Yes.
Anyway, all right. I don't know if I can ever repay you for your help today because I don't have any money. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know.
I mean, my dear.
Hey, Small. Pretty girl like you shouldn't say such words.
He's like,
I was like, whoa, you just offering to throw yourself at me?
He's like, I've already told you what I'm here for one, and number two,
So,
like,
one,
can we not?
If you say anything, I'm not just going to tell you to marry me, because that's what I'm going to do. If there's anything you can ever do for me, you can just marry me. That'd be great.
That would be great.
And if I just earn that, I'm super down with that right now.
That's fine, but I also feel like that's a little unfair.
But also,
Which is a good level of awareness, but also, like, really small.
outside of that, I've displayed that I'm very interested in you, and you're going, hey, anything you want, smorgasbord. You know, that is not a befitting a lady of what I assume is your station.
Uh-huh.
You know, just so you know. Phoenix shows me a mischievous smile.
He's like,
Hi, with his one
sarcastic.
charming tooth. Ha. I
love.
honestly,
Okay, I love the fact. Did we actually mention that there's a convention? So one of the reasons for the cute little snaggletooth thing
Nope.
is actually that there is a literal basically demarcation in Japanese culture about having cute little like bulging canines. So in regards to dental work in the United States and I think in other parts of the world, I don't know how far it goes.
orthodontic work.
Excuse me. Where they really do like to emphasize the canines in the front of the face. They think that is cute, particularly on women or girls. Now I don't know how that applies with men. So I'm a little confused. I'd also, though, know that historically speaking, at least for us, in terms of old anime, having the one cute little snaggletooth tended to mean, like, more mischievous or playful or, you know, whatever, you know, like feisty, fiery little character.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it would show up whenever they were being really mischievous. So I know there's some sort of, like, emoji experience, like emotive experience,
right.
But I don't know the full context of it, for sure. Uh-huh? What are you thinking?
Somewhere, chillin'. She keeps forgetting that we're all here to try to see if we can get her to marry us.
Yes, she does not.
Well, I love the fact we're gonna take this as completely like non-sexual, non-kamiati, whatever,
as
like
possible. We're like, you boys are here to be my friends. Friendship is go.
I mean, they don't know us, and we don't really know them, and they've all got interesting, basically,
but
like,
remembering why
cultural
someone's
background.
Here. All right, so I'm just going to refer back to our Final Fantasy VII demo, Let's Play, the remake demo, which we had fun doing, and man, was that a lot of work to figure out our sound system, etc. But it was great. We got it. It was really good. Anyway, the play was really fun, but like in reference to. You have one character, it's Wedge?
Wedge is the big guy,
right.
Yep.
Anyway, so Wedge is just adorable. Like, Cloud is friend-shaped and is going to be my friend. Cloud is there for one reason. He's hired as the muscle, like basically as in their party. So basically what you got is Wedge keeps forgetting the context of what his motivation is and going, no, you are here to help us as our friend. And it's just like Small just keeps forgetting the context of why they're there. It's really important to know what someone's context is. If they are there as a fellow employee or if they are there for a specific reason, they're not there to be your friend. Not that friendship cannot develop, but it's important to know that they have that motivation first.
I also have to say that I am amused as to how quickly they've sidestepped the issue of going, hi, Grandpa's got a payday loan. Grandpa, oh no, Grandpa's loan shark thing is immediately done with.
This feels like one of those like serialized fanfics.
It does!
Where you have to have a drama of the week.
Every single week, and it's really tiring, actually.
And you're going, drama of the week doesn't make sense when it's also solved every single week.
Right? So that's actually one of those things that in regards to fanfiction, while as much as I like fanfiction, you do realize that if you try to read it as a whole, complete work, it starts breaking apart really fast, because especially like, so what are the old styles used to be really of where, at least when I was growing up, where every single chapter it really was like you end on some cliffhanger or drama because you're trying to get people to come
want
back
to keep reading
or comment or be like, you know, interact basically in some way. So, because it was also like, you're writing this purely for free, but it was also like, I'm trying to share with friends and...
I want people involved in interacting because I'm trying to do a social activity.
Right.
Yes.
And when you really do break it down, so like somebody talked about, for example, Master of the Universe, which became freaking 50 Shades of Grey, which was Master of the Universe was originally a Twilight fan fiction. A lot of it is very, very what they call serial, where it ended and had, you know, it had abrupt, basically huge plots that would start and then just end in a chapter or maybe two.
One publication, basically, where you have this giant plot that spurs, and then that entire installment, it starts and resolves, and, you know, it vortex in that one. But I was just saying,
so there wasn't a lot of overarching plot
there wasn't a bigger thing going because you need something happening every single week. Now, some people serialize that really well, where they have a bigger thing happening, and a lot of shonen anime do this, or like manga do this very well because they've been practicing it for years.
Yes.
Where what you have is a big overarching plot, and one piece of it hits every single episode, every single publication.
Yep.
At any rate, no worries, I'm just joking.
Somewhere, Dylan, you better not be using this to manipulate because it's a little low, my dude.
Let me think. How about a thank you kiss? Small.
Really?
Me looking at myself and going, you're trying to buy physical affection.
That is not okay.
I am not going to pay for that.
I mean, that would be the thing.
I know, but like I
knew it was coming up though, see, I called it.
You did, you called it. I was gonna say, I have no confidence that she's going to kiss him on the cheek, kind of thing. But I'm vaguely curious.
I think it'll happen. Like, I think this is way too early on.
So you think it'll be softer?
I think it'll be the soft, fluffy. We're
gonna have to reach way the hell up, grab his shoulders, pull him way the hell down, and tap him on the cheek.
This is more like a shoujo to me.
That would be hilarious.
This particular anime, so I don't know if a lot of you guys have ever actually in the audience, because shockingly, shoujos aren't very popular, it seems much anymore, which is interesting. So that's like doing Fushigi Yugi, that's doing like Ayashi no Seres, that's doing like, there are lots of basically shoujos that were incredibly popular, but as time has gone on, I feel almost like shoujos have started to be dropped off in terms of like mainstream. People aren't really discussing shoujos as much as they are shonens, but unfortunately, that was kind of how it always was, because people always emphasized boys way more than they did girls. And if you were non-binary, you were basically out of luck, or basically some other gender.
Now, the convention that I dislike here, in reference to the structure of the game and the gameplay, is that you either agree or you shut them down aggressively. So the game is trying to push you towards being agreeable, one, with content locked behind a paywall, and two, with you have to be essentially mean or rude to them to, you know, not accept. There's no way to go, no thanks. Like, and the thing is I would love a game that had three options. I like the ones that basically have a strong response, medium response, you know, like cold response, essentially. Kind of thing. Even if it's like strong positive, strong, you know, negative, and then a neutral. Like the neutral is really valuable. And I get that it wouldn't work as well necessarily for their business model, but honestly, when writing a story, I don't want to write a business model because that's going to like shape your story really aggressively.
It really is. Actually, I loved the discussion. So there was somebody that I recently saw, so this is a little bit of a deviation, but tying into that, there was somebody who pointed out, so does everybody remember the Sonic movie when it was first like released in trailer form with the original design of Sonic?
For Sonic, and a lot of people there was a really huge response of going, Sonic is horrifying, don't do that.
Right, but somebody pointed out going, what he's wearing are designer sports shoes that are a specific brand. So they literally had branded shoes that Sonic is wearing. They're going, his design basically was decided from the feet up. Because you have to consider, right? So imagine Sonic's original design where he had these big, huge, clunky feet, right? In the original Sega design, and then going up to that more cartoony form, and then having this normal-looking shoe, like it would have looked weird as crap. If anybody's actually looking for what I'm talking about, there's a YouTuber, his name is Infernaut. I'll have
a link.
We'll put a link in the description below. But Infernaut discusses basically Sonic's design and why he was always basically going to look like that, because they were trying to figure out, going, we have to make Sonic fit the shoes, because he was literally a walking advertisement.
And that was the
so
thing.
And like the thing is because they would never let their brand be distorted, their object,
and if you are going to have the support of those advertisers, which will help fund what you're doing, you have to cater to them.
You really do. So it's going like, you cannot have it look silly. So the only way for it to look as natural as possible was
to have Sonic look silly.
Which is in the end you're going, that's not Sonic, and it's like, whoa, go, yeah, it's not, and it's a little scary.
And it didn't really work so well. Anyway, so they had to make other choices. But there are a lot of times where if you're just specifically trying to build a business model, it can really hamper your story unless you put the story priority first
yeah.
and then try and fit your business model around it.
That.
So because otherwise it's going to affect it in
Honestly,
the same way that like some readers will engage with going, well, now that you're, if you're fan fiction or if you're publicly accessed through like Twitter or whatever, I'm going to tell you what you should be writing.
Which is again though a thing that we've pointed out even in other Genius games. Like so when we were playing Yowie Beast Boys, one of the things of going, if we aggressively went towards one character, which we did, because we were like, this just seems to work better and seems to be more healthy, question mark.
They still seem to drive you towards both characters. They still seem to demand.
Because they're still trying to force you through the whole story, trying to get you to spend money eventually because they're going to drag it out as long as possible.
Going, but what if you were missing something with this other character? What if you wanted them?
Which is like one of those things though that we talked about in regards to like the Arcana, where it was very frustrating going like, imagine you're playing the game and going, all of your potential relationship building moments, which is not to say that you aren't in a relationship with them anyway, abruptly, which I never understood because that was nothing I never got about, dating somebody anyway. But it's like, your game model is literally shoving your story towards you need to eventually pay for the premium choices because if you don't,
you will miss out on a lot of the relationship that you're building.
Which also then hampers and destroys parts of your story because it starts basically dropping parts of the story in areas that you didn't have access to.
Yep, or that you didn't choose to buy access to.
Right.
And so a lot of those, like in a number of these games that we've played, there's an experience where if you don't choose the premium option, it's still, the writing doesn't flow as evenly. It sort of like basically hits an awkward piece of the like a flowchart tree, and it just doesn't hit as well. Where like they just expected you to buy it, kind of thing, or they just didn't spend as much time on the non-paid option and how to get there, like through the writing.
Right.
All right. Again, so like, you know what? I'm just going to kiss him.
Just I'll make sure. Don't forget, you guys. We did actually have an update for our Arcana stuff. So.
Oh, we did. We actually posted an update for the Arcana. So if you missed that, please go check that out if you're involved in that series. Additionally, we love having you here, and yeah, please feel free to join the discourse.
Yeah. So
all right. So I'm going to try kissing Phoenix then and see what happens. Because
if we're going honestly for the character stuff, would you actually do that?
For me, I would be like, this is kind of funny. I'm a little overwhelmed for the day. I would happily be like, I'll kiss her on the freaking cheek. Like, that would be fine with who she is, because she is fairly impulsive, and she does get overwhelmed, sort of like her grandpa. I'll make dumb choices, but excitable choices when I'm really overwhelmed.
Right.
That was buildings exploding and people flying out of windows and fighting a mob boss, essentially.
That's why.
So she's a little like, okay, I just am totally getting off the high of this and also the relief of my grandpa's okay. I believe this is 100% solved, villain of the week, and will never come back again.
Never.
So I would totally be like,
yeah, sure, why not?
This is fine, sounds fine. Now, if it goes
also
into something...
if this is the way that I can pay you back and it doesn't have to be...
marriage?
Yeah.
And it just resolves this immediately so it's done?
Honestly, though, it feels like Small wasn't even thinking about that. That's what's bothering me. I'm like, really, why
She doesn't sound like she's being transactional at all. She's just like, hey, let's now establish that we can totally do things for each other.
Right?
It didn't sound like, hey, I want to pay you back and pay off this debt. It felt very much like, hey, we can totally do things for each other. This was super cool.
Right. I also, though, feel bad because at least in terms of our characterization for Phoenix, I feel like him just being like, why would I ever be like, you should kiss me? Yeah. I like you and you're interesting, but, I'm also not necessarily romantically interested in you because I'm a little gay, but it's
on the other hand, he might think it's just sort of like funny, like, you could do this.
Because he's like, it's the only thing he can think of.
Or it could be like a cultural thing of basically going, we do kiss greetings like you do in like France or things like, like other people who just, or like,
true.
Even Russia or things like that. Where it's just like, it is appropriate to kiss people, to greet them.
Hello!
Yes, that kind of thing.
All right, sure, let's give it a shot.
So that could be a piece of culture that I'd be interested in. Let's try it.
Let's try it.
We'll see what happens. Well, what?
Are
you serious? Is this why you wanted to help me? Were you thinking this the whole time? This is extortion. I'm waiting. I just stand there. I'm waiting.
Dylan, yeah, you don't look
We never had a proper greeting before, and you don't seem to do things the way we do them. So you know what? Let's get to know each other in this moment. Nimoi.
Give me nimoi.
Yeah. Hey, Grandpa! This is hilarious. It doesn't just go for it. It leaves him in the room. I love that. That is such a wild experience.
But I'm also like, this seems suddenly really, again, that's what I'm saying. This reads very strongly sometimes as a shoujo. Like,
but also
massively.
We agreed to it, and now she's actually going against the player's choice, going, but I don't. That's hilarious.
That is sort of funny.
My character is disagreeing with my choice, and that's really freaking funny.
I mean, and that's fine. You can have characters disagree with stuff like that.
But that suddenly just separates me going, That's freaking hilarious.
She is definitely her own character, which
And
is
I've
fine.
liked that from the beginning, but I also think this is really funny. And at the same token, I'm also like, they also just took time to write her getting to the point of kissing him rather than just going, I'm just going to do this. So you chose a story arc rather than a moment.
But the question is then, why did that though pop up? If she was going to fight and argue this much, see for me, and then I'm going, again, your story to me doesn't work because you're going, why would she ever come up with that idea?
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Is essentially what you're doing is this is like one of those old flip book choose your own adventures. So when you say kiss him, what you're doing in some of them is you're moving to the part of the plot where that will end up happening. It's not having the action happen immediately.
Okay.
So you're opening up another piece of the story where if you go, let's make an AU where she would kiss him, how would we get there?
Right.
And then you start approaching it that way.
Okay.
Which is really unusual, and I'm very surprised by it, given that I've seen no one else do it yet.
That's true.
Like, I'm not saying it's amazing, like the best thing ever, but I'm going, it's very interesting.
Right.
I'm interested.
That's fair.
Grandpa, I also love the fact that they didn't isolate her artificially. Grandpa is still in the room.
Yes.
That makes me happy. That's
Unlike
super cool.
Dylan, who's like, I'm just gonna nope out.
You know what? That was exhausting and had a lot of fire, by the way. I'm not super keen on fire. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Say something. Don't just grin like, the children. The kids.
Hubba hubba zoot zoot. Oh, right. I don't want to be a third wheel.
Oh my God, Grandma! Grandpa exits the room, leaving me alone with Phoenix. Grandpa! I holler. That's you.
As I sneeze into my elbow. Sorry.
Okay, cough into your elbow. I'm sorry. I just kind of sometimes want to make up a dance for the whole coronavirus instructional of, first you wash your hands, then you cough into your elbow, then you maintain your distance, la la la.
And maintain your
social
distance.
distancing. Yes. Yep. All right. Leaving me alone with Phoenix. Phoenix wraps his arm around me, pulling me close. Sigh. This is not what I was expecting. But now I have learned a thing about the writers. My hands rest on his chest. Up by my face. Pop.
He's like, this feels like your abs.
Just so you know.
You're very tall.
Like, if I put my arms straight forward, like, at my pec height, I'm going to be at your abs. And if I put them at my face height, I'm going to be at your
also like,
chest.
this is very intimate and familiar. This is way too much for me.
Like, I was going to say,
whoa.
I told you I didn't trust it, and you said, no, it's going to be something soft. And now we have learned about the writers. So in early games in dating, and in a lot of early games, I like to try and understand what the conventions of the game are and get to know the writers themselves and who they are and what kind of choices they're going to make so we can understand the tone of their thinking.
Yeah, well, it doesn't always work out that way because we've had other times where we're like,
But sometimes writers will teach you who they are and what their ideas for things are.
That's true.
And sometimes the game will teach you what it's about, where if it gives you a puzzle in one place, it will model it in another place and that's still the right choice kind of thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
But it's like,
you're just like, really?
Trying to learn it, sometimes you run into something you didn't really want to do.
Well, and also, though, sometimes it's really contradictory. Like, the thing of, like, again, where sometimes we picked a choice.
Right.
And you're going, like when we ran into the Arcana a couple of times. And I apologize for mentioning this, but it's like, it's one of the biggest ones we had.
It's a longer story than a lot of them.
Or Yowie Beast Boys, where we'd be like, we picked this thing, and it was like, no! We said this thing, the answer is nay.
And we totally
I'm
understood
gonna nay off your nay, okay?
Understood it to mean something else.
Like, wildly.
Again, though, still, like, we've got our hands up by our face on his chest, looking up at him like, excuse me, you can't even get down to kiss me unless you move away from me some, or you squat. My dude.
Lordy squat.
My heart's pounding so hard, because I'm not sure how this is going to work, or what to expect. Is this really going to happen? Having you fight by my side tonight, because, you totally swung your purse like a boss. I loved it.
It was amazing. Actually, what was that thing?
Really good.
I remember you like what
your
was that?
bag, your hand weapon that you carry everywhere. It's also storage. I love that thing. It's so cool.
It's brilliant.
Like you pull stuff out, there's a weapon and a storage case. Why don't we have those? I feel like we should have so many more
Small
of those.
sometimes. I broke my phone.
I broke my damn phone. Or my lipstick cracked open and got all over my
Valentino
bag. Exactly.
My white Valentino bag.
I did it to my own self, and it's an off-brand, not Valentino from, the thrift shop. All right.
Oh, he is actually blushing. I'm like, we finally got to
He's like,
blushing.
Watching you in action. Watching you actually fight things. Well, you could have killed me because you are actually a dragon slayer. I could have died. It was kind of like inspiring. You really got my blood pumping, Small. I never thought of that, like, I'm just here.
Death and mortality.
And I might die while I'm also being awesome. And that was impressive. I've never been threatened by
anything.
I'm not sure by anything, ever. Like,
yeah,
in the whole life.
Sticks head out. You're kidding.
Really? It's like, I've never acknowledged a threat to my life, ever. I'm perfect. I'm amazing. I can't imagine.
His ass in, like, volleyball and...
That doesn't count. That's not a physical combat. Physical combat. I don't care if you won at that stupid chess
Water
thing.
boxing.
I turned it into steam, so there. Ha. Yeah, well, anyway. I can't imagine anyone more worthy of being my bride. I should have asked you that. Why did I ask for a kiss? I should have just told you to marry me. Damn. Because if I thought I could earn you with one necklace, I should have thought I could earn you with one task. I should have got that, man. Damn, where's my character?
Where is my kid?
You flatter me, Phoenix. It's just a purse.
You just smell like cinnamon
It's
and
just
smoke.
A purse.
You
just smell like a barbecue grill. It's fine.
You smell delicious.
Hi.
But also really overburnt. God, I'm hungry. We haven't eaten.
Oh
God, you guys, I'm so hungry.
We've been doing this for hours. I am really hungry. You know what? Phoenix, I changed my mind. Let's go out to dinner together and you can buy me, like, food.
And knowing the kind of character that Phoenix would be, he'd be like, food!
He'd be like, wait, I can do something for you? I can buy you something? Yes! And going, it's not really me paying you back, but you're having dinner with me. That's like a date. That's a payback.
Yep.
For a date. Yes, social currency. We got this.
Okay.
All right. You flatter me, Phoenix. Again, still just a purse. Is it working? He's really smooth sometimes. He's hilarious.
Oh, he's pretty funny.
Is it working? Huh. Phoenix leans down, pressing warm, soft lips against mine.
Why
he really
does.
Like, he has to lean me away as he leans down so he gets me. Because honestly, if someone is pulled against your chest and they are short and you lean...
I've got to tell you, I've reached a process. You've got to figure that out.
If you lean down, you don't reach them in the same way that, like, if you have to like, even squatting, unless you slide them up your chest, you just have to push them out a little bit.
Quick! La 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 la. Little legs dangling in the air. La, 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 la. Paddle, paddle, paddle.
Gently picks up Small, much softer and nicer than he did for Nico. Puts her on the couch so they're face to face. She's standing on the couch cushion, leans over, hands behind his back, very gentlemanly, like,
That'd be very
right. I close my eyes, enveloping myself in the sensation. Enveloping. I want to say enveloping.
I kind of had that problem too.
Enveloping myself.
We're going to fold ourselves.
Fold ourselves into an envelope. I am in this. I live here now.
We live here.
Phoenix's arms tighten around me, pressing my body to his. He's really picked me up at this point, because otherwise our height difference is just, it's too much. Either that or, again, he's just like squatting like that. He's just like legs half bent. He's like,
I am Lord of Squats.
I am Lord of Squats. I never skip leg day, ever. My legs are amazing.
Honest, I'd be like, all right, which day do you think they all do?
Leg day, arm day. I do wing day.
Wait,
woo! Never skip my wing day. All right. The truth is, I enjoyed fighting at Phoenix's side tonight, too. It just felt right somehow. That's it. We're not supposed to marry each other. We're supposed to be bros. Battle cohorts. Yay! He's like, I want to learn how to kill everything. He's like, oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I'll have my harem of boys. You will have whatever it is you like, and we'll go destroy the world together. We'll take over everything.
It was amazing.
Yes. We would just have like the best conversations over dinner, and I'm getting me one of those battle storage things. I'm gonna beat everyone with it.
Phoenix, yes, has the best purse ever.
The best, like, I will murder you purse. He's amazing. I feel braver with him around, especially since I've never really done much ever. I know that no matter what happens, he'll keep me safe.
Like all the other ones.
Just like everyone else. That's that convention of heroes. Like, push.
6 feet later. Hello.
6 feet.
I have to maintain distance for the coronavirus.
I said, that was his social distancing. He's like, I kissed you. Oh, I forgot about social distancing. 3 feet exactly. Here we go. I got it.
I have returned
to
safe distance.
Yeah, it's okay. What we did was, you see, we put up a barrier between us, and we just kissed through the saran wrap, pushing Daisy style, so that we wouldn't transmit anything during the coronavirus.
That's great.
It's lovely. All right. Phoenix pulls back a moment later, smiling at me. Thank you, by the way. That's okay. Phoenix, you don't have to thank me for kissing me.
I mean, the fact that you still went through with it, because I think in the end he's saying that you still had a choice. Maybe.
Yeah, I would hope so. I like that interpretation.
Yes.
No, I mean, thank you for talking me down earlier.
Oh, never mind.
I guess I would have regretted it if I'd really burned that guy. I mean, you didn't regret the first one, and he went carted off to the hospital. So
no.
Maybe you would have regretted it if you'd have like burned a hole through him, classic horror movie style.
Or just like you would have actually killed him. It's very different.
Sorry about that. I know I can get carried away at times, and you humans, you seem really delicate now that I've been here for a little while. It's kind of amazing, actually.
Kind of wild.
Like,
I'm so used to dragon slayers and dragons.
Right, my great aunt, Methuselah. She's amazing.
She's a badass.
She actually has killed some dragons for real, like, yeah.
For really real.
Really real. I think she's
this.
actually technically my like great, but you guys live a really long time. So, it's hard to keep track of.
You've noticed your grandpa's.
I don't study lineage. I didn't pay as much attention in lineage classes. Maybe I should have. I might pay more attention now that if I marry you, I'll have to tell you all these things.
Crap.
We'll take lineage class together. It'd be good. We'll just do it as a team.
No, we'll be a team effort.
Team effort.
Keep me on
We're
task.
a good team.
Because I'll get distracted with my boys.
I know I can get carried away at times.
With my boys.
with a lot of boys. I like boys, They're really great.
I really just like boys.
I'm glad that I have you to keep an eye on me.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful in the human world because, damn, human boys are really hard to date for some reason. All right. And in return, as long as I'm around, I'll always fight for you. That's my promise to you. Thank you, Phoenix. That means a lot. Well, it's late. See, now we're out of the scene. It goes back to the set. We go, no, thanks. So he goes, well, it's late.
Yes.
Back to the elevator music. I'll let you get your rest now. And that's it. All right, dragon, princess.
And thank you very much, guys, for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. If you like what we do, please feel free to check out our Patreon and check out our Ko-Fi. We are also on Instagram. We are also on Twitter. We are also still on Tumblr.
Yay!
So thank you very much. I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!